Hello everyone! In this video I'm going to walk you through the process of creating this war machine mech that I created for a short I'm working on, and also explain a bit how to balance details in your design to be more appealing. In the last video, we made this robot character and talked about hard surface character creation. Today we're gonna expand this workflow to more complicated projects. As always, the first step is to collect references, to get ideas and to analyze. If you look close, you will notice that there are many random details, but the distribution of the details is regulated. We don't get details everywhere. We have places with big shapes and places with small details. This will make the object more readable and appealing. I continue to collect ideas to move on to the next step, which is the concept art. I like to draw a simple sketch for what I'm aiming for. Now in Blender, I start the next step, which is blocking. As always, I start with simple shapes to block the body I want. After finishing the blocking stage and moving on to the modeling, I like to change the visibility option on the blocked parts to wires, so I know the boundaries when I model the final parts of the body. I pay extra attention to the curvature of the hard surface body by adding support edges and edge crease. I experimented a lot with the shape of the glass, cause if this mech is a character, then the glass is gonna be a face and the main focus. The sides were a bit too flat, so I added some details to them later. Now the legs were the most detailed and complicated part I worked on. I wanted them to have a lot of moving and detailed parts, cause there's a lot of close-ups on them in the short I'm working on. I started the first part as normally by adding box and trying to define the details with edge loops and extruding them after shaping. I spent a lot of time on detailing small parts, but this kind of mechanical parts can be reused later or get bashed in future projects. Now before going any further in the modeling of the leg, I went back to the blocking stage and I made a detailed blocking of the leg to do a test rig on it. This is an optional step that I use for somewhat complicated rigs that I don't know how they will end up like. And it's more realistic workflow. 3D design isn't a stream workflow. A realistic pipeline will have a lot of back and forth. In this rig, I used chains of IKs and blocked some of the axes and allowed stretching on certain bones to get it all working just by moving the foot. And after a lot of trial and error, it worked perfectly. Now after I'm sure of it working, I go back to the modeling. Now I remade the rig, but cleaner to be easier to work with. I added some details to the glass and the body. The arms were the easy part. I only needed them to be cannons or guns, no complicated modeling or rigging, just big shapes. I added bones to the rest of the body and attached it to the leg rig to form the final mech character. As you can see, I finished the rigging this time before the texturing, which is okay for hard surfaces where we don't have deformations. I skipped the unwrapping entirely because I don't have the need for specific painting, and I'm keeping all the work inside Blender, so I'm not exporting anything to any other programs. The materials were just layers of scratches and noises to add details and realism. This is all for this week. See ya.